I'm not an expert in motivating and inspiring people, but I can find someone who is. Let's use one of the best motivational speeches until today. The official account already have 37 million views. With the other videos on the internet, I believe the speech has more than 100 million views. It is Steve Jobs' commencement speech in Stanford University back in 2005. And here are the key takeaways from how he delivered his motivational speech with timestamps in the video that help you to navigate to the place you'd like to watch. Don't forget to like and comment so more people can see this.
I'm honored to be with you today for your commencement from one of the finest universities in the world. Truth be told, I never graduated from college, and this is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation.
What I heard from this message is him telling the graduates, you are better than me. You graduated from college today that I did not. And I'm in a college graduation ceremony because of you. Steve set the tone here to step down from that stage virtually. Because physically, he's on the stage, which is higher than the graduates. And achievement-wise, he has higher achievement in terms of business than the graduate today. So they should look up to him when they listen to him speaking. But that's not how he wanted his message to be delivered. By saying you're better than me in terms of graduating from college, I have something to look up to you and you have something to look up to me. So we're equally good. I'm not standing on the stage and delivering a live lesson to you. Let's listen to the next line and see how he continued to set the tone this way.
Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories.
3 stories, no big deal. That's exactly how it sounds like when you step off the stage. What if I change the introduction to, I'm gonna teach you 3 life lessons and these 3 things will definitely inspire you. How Steve said it was less like a professor trying to start his philosophy class. You can pay attention to the philosophy class, but your relationship will never really feel the same as a friend telling you 3 personal stories about himself. When some people try to inspire, they stand on top of the stage and tell others what to do because he or she achieved much more than the audience. But you don't know how much more powerful it is to walk down the stage and sit together with your audience and deliver your life-changing message as a friend. So first, let's try to step off that stage using words.
The first story is about connecting the dots. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them.
What I've noticed from this section is there are so many more achievements he could have mentioned result from the series of decisions, like starting a company worth more than $2 billion, created tens of commercially successful products, but he just chose one, beautiful typography for our first Mac. Because an inspiring speech to the general audience is not a Creator of Decade Awards acceptance speech. Even with a great amount of achievements, you don't have to mention all of them. Instead, using one simple thing help him to bring the audience closer. Because it feels achievable, people will think, I can do what he does. He even laid out the decisions he made to achieve it that really helps the graduate to take action rather than creating a successful image far away from them. That's a tip we can use if you want to end your story with your success. Make it specific and achievable.
If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later.
I like this title the most out of all the stories. Connecting the dots actually means every decision in your life, either made by you or people around you, will affect the ending. Without the title, I might be swimming on the surface level of the message, like follow your passion, follow what you love to do. I like how the key of this message doesn't tell you what is the right thing to do. It's not about dropping the boring classes so you can save time to focus on what you're interested in. It's not about following your interests and passion so you would design a world-changing product. It's about your own goal and the small decision you made to get closer there. And what it is will be entirely written by yourself.
My second story is about love and loss.
I really enjoy listening to this story because it feels like watching a mini movie. It follows a linear movie plot: exposition, conflict, climax, falling action, and resolution.
And in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. And then I got fired. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. And so at 30, I was out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, but something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, and I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lorene and I have a wonderful family together.
This is exactly how I imagine the Steve Jobs movie would look like. I feel like the director of the Steve Jobs movie don't really need to do any work because the plot is beautifully laid out for him. If you want to tell an inspirational story, a linear movie plot is really a great choice to start from, making the story more engaging and interesting.
My third story is about death. This was the closest I've been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty than when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
You can tell for this story, unlike story 1 and 2, he talked about the specific success he has achieved for his first Mac after dropping out college, and the second story, getting back to Apple after 2 more successful companies. He didn't focus at all on what he has achieved or decided after that close to death experience. This part, Steve actually made his decision open for the graduates to imagine. To imagine, what if they were the one who has been through this close to death experience? What kind of decisions they will make differently in their life?
When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. It was their farewell message as they signed off: stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself.
What caught my attention in this section is the distribution of time between the source of the quote and the quote itself. For the introduction section about the source of the quote, it's about 1 minute, and then he only spent 20 seconds for the main message: stay hungry, stay foolish. Normally, we'll expect a shorter introduction and a longer main message. So after he did the introduction and mentioned the main message, psychologically, people are expecting more. Like, what does it mean to you? Why is that important? But he gave nothing more than just a live message: stay hungry, stay foolish, and let that echo in the graduate's mind. Give them space and let them imagine what it means to them.
And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for watching. If you want more analysis like this, check out my channel. And don't forget to like and comment so more people can see it.